thank you for inviting me tonight. I have enjoyed being here. I have learned more about the other candidates, some of their views. I would like to share with you something that I learned a long time ago. My law enforcement career has been over the last 30 years. And I learned as a young police officer that there's a couple of words there: to serve and protect. And those aren't just words. They're something that we live by as law enforcement officers. They're important to me, and they're important to other officers. And so I want you to know I've had this great opportunity of going around the county, and I've met almost all of you here, and many others. I've talked to some of the senior citizens and some of the others, and their concerns to me were they don't feel like they're safe, and they're not protected. So I'm going to continue, should I be elected sheriff, to go around the county getting to know the people. I want to meet every one of you. I want to invite you to come up to the sheriff's office and talk to me. But something to me that's most important is our children. And something I want to share just a short story with you. A few years ago, I was a dare officer. I was teaching there in Blanton Hines, an elementary school in Villa. We graduated all of our students. And then their teacher asked them if they would like to say anything to Mr. Kimball, their officer. So they sent me a letter. Several of them thanked me for teaching them about drugs. But the one that I will always remember, she sent me a letter and says, "Thank you, Mr. Kimball, for keeping me safe here at school. And if you could only go home with me and keep me safe there." Thank you.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for inviting us here tonight, and I hope this was informative to you all, and I hope you got a lot of questions answered. You know, Haralson County's always been my home, and I had someone to tell me, "Well, you're the sheriff. Why don't you go home at 5 o'clock every evening? Why don't you take every weekend off?" My response is, the more you hear about what you're doing, the more you have to do. And that's where I stand. I don't take it for granted. I respectfully ask for your vote. You know, it's tough to get around and see everyone in the county when you're working a full-time job. And believe me, being sheriff of Haralson County is a full-time job. I stand mostly on my record. I hope I've proven myself from when I politicked 4 years ago. And as it was said earlier, sheriff is one of the hardest jobs to do. You have to keep peace, work with everyone in the county, but there's no way you can totally ever make everyone happy. So you do the best you can, and you ask for guidance, and I did that from the county. You know, we work a lot of programs. We have dairy officers, CHAMPS officers in school. We have student resource officers. I work closely with the elderly every way that I can. I go to their functions. I spend time with them. I have an open door policy. I honestly feel like I can say that there's been very few calls I've got that I failed to return. The timer's giving me the time's up, so if you would, just say a prayer, do the right thing, and God bless all of you. Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Judge, for coming out tonight. I appreciate moderating the questions. And now, as a citizen of Haralson County, I want to ask you a question. Where do you want the county to go? Y'all heard our ideas. You want to know where we want to go? It's our job as elected officials to give you what you want. Where do you want the county to go? Tell us, and we'll take you there. Thank you.
Thank you for having me here tonight. It's been an honor and a privilege to be your chairman of the Board of Commissioners for the past 4 years. I'm going to ask you one thing tonight. I'm going to ask you for your vote and your support. My record stands for itself, it speaks for itself. I've tried to do the best job in my ability. I I've tried to lead this board of commissioners in a way that would improve the quality of life and raise the standard of living in Haralson County. I believe if you look back at that, you can see that I'm a fighter and I'm a finisher. We've been fighting for a jail for the past 2 years, myself along with the sheriff. We've been trying to get this moving. We've been fighting for over 20 years for a reservoir. For the first time in over 20 years, we got land to build this reservoir. So if I can ask you one thing, if we continue to stay the course, I think we can complete a lot of things that we've started. I've been blessed and fortunate to serve on 2 statewide committees that regulate probation, what we're all talking about here. I've been honored and blessed to serve on the 911 Usury Board, which regulates the 911 throughout the state. I've been given those blessings and honor because I have the ability to work not only with the local legislature, but the state and the feds. And I believe if we stay the course, we can see a lot of improvement in the next 4 years. And I appreciate your vote in advance, and I hope you consider voting for me on November 4th. Thank you.
Again, to repeat myself, I stand for quality, professionalism, and integrity. We don't differ with that with Danny, with what he's done. But at the same time, I'm not going to bring the standard quality to the job. I will continue to train, bring the highest level of service to our citizens. Just as this, and she may get home to me. Gail, Junior Women's League is up from 14 years old. 16. This will make our 17th year being together. The point I'm going to make is, if elected, I want to hold the office's corner of being proactive than reactive. Our children are our greatest asset. Our drug problem is growing every year. What myself, along with the Junior Women's League, have done, this will be our 20th year doing the Right Alive program, doing the drug awareness programs in our school. Not being reactive to the situation, but putting it out there. This is not reality, it's actuality. Carrying it to our children. And thank the good Lord, with our school systems, at the county, and at the city, they've allowed us access to our children and our grandchildren. I believe, if elected, I want to make that a priority, keeping our children aware of what can happen.